Hi guys, welcome back to Football Heaven 24/7. I'm your host Jamie. Just going to launch straight back into it. There was a number of games last night in the Championship through to League Two. Just going to go through that and sort of like talk about a couple of the games that are on tonight. But yeah, yesterday's games on the 29th of December. I'm just going to run through the results and where that leaves the tables in the Championship through to League Two. So going into the Championship, Blackburn, they were lying in third at the start of the day, and they was up against an informed Middlesbrough under old Manchester United midfielder Michael Carrick. But it was Middlesbrough that basically won the game 2-1 in the end. There was a early goal from Ryan Hedges for Blackburn, and then two goals from Force and McGree in the second half gave Middlesbrough a 2-1 win. And that moved Middlesbrough further up the table. They're still they're within touching distance now of the playoffs. You're looking at they're literally only a point off the playoffs, so it's absolutely crazy. They've gone on a fantastic run under Carrick. I think they've had something like 6 wins in the last 8 games, so they're doing really, really well. And obviously, that's pushed them up from where the relegation zone where they were when Carrick took over to, as I say, being on the brink of the playoffs in the Championship. So great result for Middlesbrough last night. Away at Blackburn, and to be fair, Blackburn have been pretty good at home, but they're faltering a bit. That's their second defeat on the trot at home. They lost 4-1 to Preston a number of days ago, and now they've lost to Middlesbrough. So, yeah, that's. But Blackburn are still in the playoffs. They just dropped down. Well, they stayed in the same place, in third place, basically. And then looking at the other games, Sheffield United stay in second. They got a 2-1 win away at Blackpool. Goals from Sander Berge and McAtee, and a goal back in the second half for Blackpool, but it wasn't enough. So Sheffield United won that one 2-1. As I say, they finished in second. They're currently second behind Burnley on goal difference, but Burnley are playing tonight away at Stoke City. I said 2-2 in my prediction. I think Burnley will actually win 3-2 tonight, so I'm going to go Burnley 3-2 for that game tonight. Coventry City drew 0-0 with Cardiff. Huddersfield beat Rotherham 2-0 at home in a Yorkshire derby. Thing with Huddersfield, that's 2 wins on the bounce now after beating Preston away 2-1. So Huddersfield are starting to get closer to getting out of the relegation zone in the Championship, but another good win for them. Millwall drew 0-0 with Bristol City. Queen's Park Rangers got absolutely battered by Luton Town 3-0. 2 goals from Carlton Morris and an absolute screamer from Alfie Doughty, his first goal for Luton Town. Great result for them to win in 3-0. Luton winning 3-0 at QPR. And then West Bromwich Albion was playing Preston North End, and they won 2-0 thanks to 2 goals from Yakasilu. I can't even say his name, Yakasilu or whatever his name is. So they won 2-0 against Preston, and that moved them closer to the playoffs. They're now only 2 points off the playoffs, West Brom, having been in the relegation zone when Carlos Calderon took over from Steve Bruce. So yeah, West Brom and Middlesbrough making massive, massive strides in the last sort of 8 games. They're probably, I think they both won 6 games out of the last 8, so they're both doing fantastic. And then Sunderland, finally, the last home game of the Championship games last night was Sunderland winning 4-1 away at Wigan. Wigan are rock bottom now of the Championship. Sunderland also move into the playoffs. They're in the playoffs now. They've moved up to fourth position in the Championship. So it's not out of the running. I think still automatically Burnley and Sheffield United will go up in the Championship because they're quite a number of points ahead of people. They're both it's 11 points. Yeah, both 11 points clear. I mean, Burnley could be of the third place relegation place. So Burnley could be 14 points clear tonight if they win at Stoke. So yeah, it's be interesting to see what happens. But as I say, Burnley and Sheffield United occupy the top spots. It's now Blackburn, Sunderland, Watford and Middlesbrough in the playoff areas. But tonight in the Championship, Birmingham City are playing Hull City, Norwich are playing Reading, Stoke are playing Burnley. Both those games, and also Swansea against Watford. All those last three games I mentioned, that could move the playoff places around a little bit because obviously Norwich, Reading, Burnley and Watford are all sort of in and around the playoff areas. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how those games go tonight. I did my predictions, but I think I said Birmingham City to beat Hull 3-1 tonight. Norwich City to lose 2-1 to Reading. Obviously, Norwich, as I mentioned in the previous episode, they got rid of their manager, Dean Smith, who was the former Aston Villa manager as well. But yeah, well, I still think Reading will pull off a bit of a shock win there. As I said earlier, Burnley I think will win 3-2 at Stoke tonight, and I think that Watford will beat Swansea City 2-1 tonight at Swansea. And then going into the other games tonight, League One, Derby's playing against Cambridge. I think I said 3-1 to Derby in that one. Lincoln are playing Bolton. I've gone for 2-1 to Bolton in that game. And Newport County are playing Leyton Orient in League Two. Orient could go further ahead at the top. I think they could extend to, I think it's something like 10 points, providing Stevenage lose against Crawley, which has also been played tonight. So that's what games are going on in the in all tonight's games. But going into League One, at the start of the day in League One, it was basically Ipswich and Plymouth that were at the top end of the table. Ipswich, they ended up doing not too bad on the night. They drew 2-2 away at Portsmouth. Quite a hard place to go. Portsmouth have only lost 4 games all season. And Portsmouth, yeah, they looked like they were going to win it, to be fair. They were 2-1 up at one point. But there was a goal back from Connor Chaplin, made it finish 2-2 in that game. That keeps Ipswich in second. Plymouth were playing at home. Plymouth, who are top of League One, remain top because they won 1-0 at home to Wycombe Wanderers. So they stay up there at the top. Also, other results in League One. Barnsley beat Fleetwood Town 2-1. Bristol Rovers and Exeter City, kind of a West Country derby. They had a crazy, crazy game. Exeter went 2-0 up in that game. But then they ended up being 3-2 down in the second half, thanks to 3 goals from Collins, Coburn, and a penalty from Scott Sinclair. And those goals came about in a sort of a 15-minute period in the second half. Well, 16-minute period in the second half. So Rovers looked like they were going to win that one after being 2-0 down, but they ended up losing 4-3 thanks to 2 goals right at the end from Dieng and another goal from Nombe or whatever his name is. I can't say it properly. So Exeter won 4-3. Forest Green lost 2-1 at home to Burton Albion. Morecambe beat Accrington Stanley 2-0. Oxford United beat Charlton Athletic 3-1. Peterborough beat MK Dons 2-0. So MK Dons' little mini rivalry ended last night. Sheffield Wednesday beat Port Vale 2-0. Shrewsbury Town then lost in the final game in League One. They lost 1-0 at home to Cheltenham in kind of not a local derby, but they're not too far away from each other, Cheltenham and Shrewsbury. So good win for Cheltenham because they were on a bit of not a great run. So they've got a win on the board. How that makes the table look in League One, as I said earlier, Plymouth are still top, Ipswich are in second, and then in the playoff places you've got Sheffield Wednesday, who are now literally just behind Ipswich Town on goal difference after Ipswich only managing a draw last night, and obviously Sheffield Wednesday winning convincingly at home. I personally think, as I said earlier on in the season, I think that Sheffield Wednesday and Ipswich are massive, massive teams. There's a 4-point gap though between Plymouth, who are first, and Ipswich that are second, but I still think that potentially we could be seeing Ipswich and Sheffield Wednesday getting automatically promoted in that league. I think that Plymouth may come up unstuck. They've had a great season though, to be fair. But yeah, it's tight between those 3. Underneath Sheffield Wednesday in the 4th place position in the playoffs is Barnsley, and then the other 2 playoff places, it's Bolton and Peterborough that have just sneaked back into the playoffs after getting that win last night. So that's how the table is in League One. It might change a little bit tonight depending on what happens in some of the games that are playing tonight, which I've already mentioned. In the relegation zone in League One, you've got Accrington Stanley, MK Dons, Forest Green Rovers, and Morecambe at the bottom. So that's how it's going in League One at the moment. So we'll see what goes on with that. But a few things got jumbled around. Notably, Sheffield Wednesday got closer to second place Ipswich, and they're going to mount a massive challenge now, Sheffield Wednesday. As I said, there's only 5 points between those 3 teams, Plymouth at the top and Wednesday in third. So, there's a fight on for the title there, I think, an early fight on. So we'll see what happens. But if I was going to go with it, if I was thinking about it, I would go with Ipswich and Sheffield Wednesday to go up because they've got the bigger squads and they got more money in general. So anyway, on to League Two. League Two, at the start of the day, Leyton Orient were top. They remain top still. They're top by, just looking at now, 7 points. Yeah, they're top by 7 points, Leyton Orient. But if they win tonight and Stevenage was to lose, they could go 10 points clear. So that would, pretty much put them in an extremely comfortable position. And they're still something crazy like 13 points away from the playoff places. So they're from dropping into the playoff places. So I can't see Leyton Orient losing 4 on the bounce. Excuse me, because that's what would happen, or 5 on the bounce even, because that was what would happen for them to have to fall into the playoffs. And that's assuming that all those other teams below them win their games. So I think Leyton Orient in an extremely comfortable position. As I say tonight, I think that Leyton Orient will win 2-1 away at Newport County. And I do think that Stevenage will beat Crawley. I think Stevenage will win 2-0, so I think the gap will still be 7 points. But yeah, that's my predictions for that. But anyway, we'll go into the games from last night in League Two. Just run through them quick. Barrow played Tranmere, and Tranmere won 2-1 after going after Barrow equalised, but they won 2-1 in the end. Tranmere. Bradford City beat Harrogate 1-0. Colchester United fighting to avoid relegation in League Two. They lost 2-1 at home to AFC Wimbledon in kind of a localish derby there. Crewe Alexandra lost 3-0 at home to Carlisle. Doncaster Rovers had an epic 4-3 victory over Rochdale. Grimsby Town got absolutely smashed, having drawn level in the game, 4-1 at home to Salford City. Hartlepool lost 2-1 at home to Mansfield after their mini rivalry had got them out of the relegation zone. Northampton were at home to Swindon Town, but Northampton faltered a bit. They're still in 3rd place in the league, in the final promotion place. Automatic promotion place. They lost 2-1 at home to Swindon in a bit of a shock result there, and Swindon, as a result of that, cement their place in the playoffs in League Two. I don't suppose it's that much of a shock because they're only a few positions behind them, 2 positions behind them in the league. So yeah, Swindon won 2-1. Sutton United got a last gasp winner to win 2-1 against relegation threatened Gillingham. Gillingham are still bottom of League Two. And Stockport continued their good run and they won 2-0 away at Walsall. 2 goals from Carl Wotton, former Scunthorpe United player. So there we go. That's what's going on in League Two. So how it leaves the table, Leyton Orient are still top, 7 points clear of Stevenage in second. Northampton are in third. In the playoff places in League Two, you've got Carlisle United, Swindon Town, Mansfield Town and Bradford City. So that's what's going on there. Just outside the playoffs, Salford City and Barrow and even Stockport are creeping up there at the moment. So they're only all out of the playoffs by 3 points. It is 3 or 4 points. So still all to play for. Still a lot to go on. I would still say, looking at the table in League Two, that Leyton Orient are going to run away with it and win the title. I don't think Stevenage will challenge. I think Leyton Orient have got good home form. Like I say, if they get a good win tonight, I think they're going to keep getting more and more confident. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Whoever you support, if I've not mentioned any of your teams, then fair enough. But thank you for all those that like and subscribe to my channel. If you've got friends and family that might be interested in getting an update on the footy, 15-minute update every week, just get them to like and subscribe. Have a happy new year, and I hope that you get everything that you want in the new year, or that you need, should I say, because we all want stuff. But but yeah, I hope you get what you need, and thank you for your support. I do appreciate it, and bye for now. And I'll catch you again very, very soon with another episode. There'll be one tomorrow, I should say. All right, bye for now.